You go to choir leader has impregnated 3 people. Pastor calls them to the office and say, be very careful, be very careful. You are lucky that we are no longer in the laws of Moses. You would have died. Now go and take care of this nonsense. And the next day they are still singing, because singing is about skill. Singing is about voicing. Ministry is about excellence. And so they come to the altar. Oh Lord my God, when I'm in awesome wonder. And then you find undiscerning people lifting holy hands and say, oh God is here. No, you are responding to voice. Those who have spirit eyes, when they come, your iniquity, they can sense it. They can sense it. They know that there is garbage here, because their spirit don't respond to voice. Their spirit responds to life, and what is coming out of you is death, because you are corrupt and defiled. The Bible said the standard of the law standeth sure. 2 Timothy chapter 2 from verse 19. It said, therefore the Lord knoweth them that are his. It said, they that name it the name of the Lord must depart from iniquity. It said, in a great house they are not only vessels of gold, of silver, of wood, or of hay. It said some vessels are unto honor. It says some are unto dishonor. And it said, if a man purges himself, what you do matter. What you do counts. What you do is important, because God did not just forgive us and gave us an endorsement to sin. The job would not have been completed. That's why when God saved you, he put the law of life in you, so that you can come to that point where you live above sin. If you are still living under the yoke of sin and you think grace will cover for it, you are joking. It's a perversion. It's a perversion of the gospel. Perversion. No devourer will kill because you didn't pay tithe. If you don't pay tithe, God still loves you. If you don't pay tithe, God is still blessing you, because as it is now, you already have all the blessings of God. He said he has given us all things that pertain to life and godliness through the knowledge of him that has called us to glory and virtue. He said he has given us all the spiritual blessings in heavenly places. So now there are any means by which you can draw them. You can draw them. You can draw them through prayer. You can draw them through faith. You can draw them through service. You can draw them through any other kingdom means. Tithe is not a must. But if you love God, your resources must be in the kingdom, because where a man's heart is, that's where his resources are. And in case you don't know what to give, the benchmark that God gave was 10%. This is why everybody still tithe, because that's the least we are expected to give. So when you give your 10%, you are expected to give much more. But why do preachers emphasize it? 2 reasons. The genuine preachers emphasize it because if they don't, many will say, is that so? Okay, if that's the case, let me invest my 10% for 10 years first. When I finish, I will come back. And they will no longer grow in that aspect of kingdom life. So they emphasize it so that people will learn it. It's a culture of the kingdom. But there are others who are fraudulent, because they know if they don't preach it with threat, these Christians that they are seeing resemble them. They are as fraudulent as their followers. So they need to put a lot of threat, so that even the selfish and stingy man, because he's afraid of devourers or he's afraid of poverty, he will have no choice but to give. But the danger now is that such people are not loving God. They are not growing. They are only doing trade by barter with God. And so no matter how long they do it, they may never encounter God. They may never become good Christians. So these are some of the things that the gospel will help you to understand.